The bat is dead. Bury it.
Whoa, now that is a bold claim. But let's think about it. When we sit back and truly discuss what the SnyderVerse is, well, you will realize that the SnyderVerse that everyone was fighting so hard to get is, well, no more. June of 2020 was an interesting month for DC and Snyder fans. The excitement of the Snyder Cut was building by the day, and there was hopefulness felt within the fandom that had not been seen in some time. And you can't fool yourself, we all got caught up in it. Even as the grifters and pundits began hammering out article after article and scoop after scoop, the idea of a more expansive Snyder Cut, and for that matter a continuation of Snyder's story, was rumored to be in the cards. Depending on who you want to believe though, the fact of the matter is that we had no real confirmation on anything more than Zack being granted the ability to complete his version of his Justice League movie. Yes, we all want to have the warm fuzzies in our tummies and believe that Warner Brothers was going to, at one time, let him finish his arc. But financially and logistically, it never made much sense. Now, before you all jump on me for saying that, keep in mind that many of us Snyder fans live in a bubble of sorts and are surrounded by like-minded fans. What you see is but a fraction of the mainstream DC film audience. While they would absolutely help in making a profit with those films would not nearly be as profitable as one would hope. Nevertheless, Walter Hamada, who, despite his run-in with Ray Fisher, was actually never given a fair shot at building a universe. The Snyder fandom did all they could to tarnish his name and anyone connected to him. Add to that the pandemic and the handful of delays with films, and as Hamada's tenure ends, we only had the pleasure of seeing 2 of his DC Universe films. Would his vision have been better in the long run? Honestly, we may never know, but the one thing that is certain is he was moving away from the perceived SnyderVerse. He was building a much, much larger universe than that of which Snyder was even creating. But again, why couldn't they incorporate Snyder's ideas into Hamada's? Well, he was in a way. He was using the world built and established by Zack and his team to flesh out and reset. Unfortunately, though, Snyder fans were unhappy with that. All they want is Snyder to finish his arc. Now, in comes James Gunn and Peter Safran, who by all accounts appear to have a vision and plan on how to expand the DC film lore and rival Marvel. Here's the kicker though. Not only does that not include Zack Snyder's original arc, but much like what Hamada was doing, Gunn and Safran are simply adjusting the already established story into their own. So in a sense, you could say the SnyderVerse is continuing, but let's face it, that has never been what the Snyder fans have wanted. They want Zack's original 5 to 6 movie arc, no ands, ifs, or buts. The cold hard truth is, it's not happening. As I stated earlier, it doesn't make sense financially or logistically. Having multiple timelines going on at once will only confuse the mainstream audience, which they're who they need to appease to pay the money and be profitable. And then from a business standpoint, Snyder doesn't bring the return that so many fans believes he does. As example, you have Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman, both of which are critically divisive, and while they did make a decent chunk of money, neither one made what Warner Brothers at the time thought was adequate. But do I want it completed? Do you want the SnyderVerse completed? Absolutely. But for me, what I would much rather to see is a fandom who is united and excited about what is to come. We haven't seen a bright future ahead of us as we do right now when it comes to DC. So when all is said and done, let's just put our differences aside and hope for the best.